there guys, it's Zarva here bringing you the F1 news of the week, and today we are discussing this week's car launches because that's basically the main news. So let's get straight into it with the Lotus E21. Personally for me, a bit disappointed with it straight off the bat. The first car being launched, everyone was quite hyped about it, and the red, in the gold and black livery was a bit weird for me. Some people liked it, and generally the actual car itself wasn't really packaged very differently. I think the side pod arrangement with the barge boards and the mirrors were a bit different, but that's about it really. It was pretty much an evolution of last year's car. So moving on to McLaren, my team, and I was quite impressed with them. Obviously, again, no livery change or anything like that for them. They're going with the same rocket red and silver bodywork, but some interesting stuff at the back. They've gone with a Red Bull style tight packaging where the wishbone is attached to the suspension as well to give like a kind of more tight packaged area, and that allows more area for the diffuser to be hit by that exhaust fumes. Also interestingly, their exhaust is still smaller than most cars, which means they can get a faster airflow out that exhaust, which means more downforce is hitting those tyres and the diffuser straight away. Also, the nose was a bit interesting. They're the first team that have used the modesty panel in terms of, when we were watching it from the beginning of the week, because obviously Lotus kept the step nose. So McLaren, the first one to show off the modesty panel. They packaged it quite nicely, but that allowed them to crucially get that high chassis, which they were lacking last season. And this high chassis now gives them more room to grow and a lot of potential. So it's going to be quite interesting how they develop the car going on into the season. So the next car to discuss was Ferrari. Ferrari obviously had that ugly ass car last year with the step nose, but now they fixed that with the modesty panel, and the car pretty much looks the same, just about. Obviously they have the upgrades from last year still being on the car. It was mostly an evolution. They have packaged the back a tiny bit differently, and the rear wing has changed a bit more slicker rear wing, and it looks like the front wing area has just got a lot more developed compared to last season when they unveiled their car. So definitely a step forward for Ferrari, and again much room for potential improvements. So moving on to Force India, disappointed with them. No big changes really. Obviously they had another modesty panel on there, but livery didn't change or anything like that. I mean, also Ferrari didn't change the livery too much, a few white lines here, but quite overall disappointed with cars not really changing their visual looks. I mean, I know, that's not really the point, to change visual looks, it's all the aerodynamic parts, but just for fans, it's just a bit more interesting if the livery changes, and I'll get to that later with Sauber. So yeah, Force India, not too much change, same old side pods as well. I think they packaged the back a tiny bit differently. That's pretty much one of the most major parts that they've changed on the car. So now getting to Sauber, they changed their livery completely. Really pleased they did. The first car to really mix it up in terms of livery changes, but they also made some big improvements to their car. Also, to note, the front wing part with the modesty panel, they've packaged it a bit differently. They've gone for the step nose, but instead of doing a whole modesty panel over the top to cover the whole step, what they've done is they put slats on either side. So it's sort of like the Red Bull style step nose we had last year, except it doesn't look like a vent system, it just looks like some slats on it. So they packaged it quite nicely. And the nose also, it kind of drooped forward, kind of slightly and slanted, so that was quite weird to note. The side pods also, their side pods are much smaller than usual side pods that we see, so they've drastically made it smaller. They've also got some nice turning vanes into it, so that was pretty nice to see, and they've packaged the back a bit differently. They've gone for a Red Bull / McLaren style with a Ferrari gearbox in, obviously, because they're powered by Ferrari. So it's going to be interesting to see how all the other cars unfold. Obviously we have Mercedes coming up in Spain, but they did a weird sort of they were going to reveal a tiny bit, and it kind of failed because their website failed, which is quite funny. But we've got Red Bull tomorrow, I believe, so that's going to be really, really interesting. Hoping to see, well, as a McLaren fan, hoping to see, not many changes, because their car was just a bit annoying last year, especially for me. But they are Red Bull, they've got Adrian Newey, they are going to make obviously some more improvements, but Adrian Newey obviously saying beforehand that it's quite hard to really make too many improvements, but we'll have to see, and obviously everyone's going to be hyped up about that because it's Red Bull, and everyone's always hyped up about Red Bull. So yeah, that's going to be the end of the F1 news this week, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Please give it a like if you did. Comment below on what you think of the car launches. Tell me what you guys think. I'm interested to know. I'll reply definitely if you comment below. Subscribe if you're new for weekly F1 news and race reviews when the season starts. I've been Aaron. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time.